On the news, Edo State High Court remands 52 persons for protesting the killing of a kidnapped victim. Pope Leo XIV condemns recent Russian strike on Ukrainian civilians. US boosts Nigeria's fight against terrorism with new military supplies. In addition, we have the exchange rates and weather report. Stand by now for the details as he comes into the studio.
Welcome to the news on the hour on Providence Television International. I am Ehi Eriki Ogiriaki. An Edo State High Court sitting in Benin City has remanded 52 persons in Ubiaja prison as a result of Saturday's protests in Ekpoma over the killing of a kidnapped victim by his abductors. Journalists were barred by secretary agents from entering the court to cover the proceedings. Most of the suspects were abducted from their residence by security agencies at night and moved to State Police Command headquarters. The Edo State government on Tuesday stated that the recent unrest in Ekpoma, Edo State was a coordinated riot aimed at destabilizing the state. In a statement signed by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Patrick Egbojeli, stated that the violence was a well-organized riot sponsored by Nigerians residents in Russia and other locations overseas. However, the Edo State government also rejected claims that those arrested in connection with the violence were students of Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan has condemned the arrest and detention of 52 Ambrose Ali University AAU students, calling it a troubling assault on democratic expression and youth participation in governance. The students were arrested for protesting against rising insecurity, including kidnappings and killings in Edo State. The senator has demanded their immediate and unconditional release, stating that peaceful protest is a conditional right and should not be treated as a crime. The National Association of Nigeria Students, NANS, has also echoed Senator Natasha's call, describing the detention as unjust, oppressive, and a clear violation of their fundamental rights. The students were reportedly arrested from their hostels and charged with malicious damage and armed robbery despite no complaints from affected parties. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan is calling out the Edo State authorities for prioritizing arrests over addressing the real issues. She called for their immediate release, emphasizing that peaceful protest is a constitutional right and not a crime. Pope Leo XIV has called for peace in Iran, where protests continue, and in Syria, where the army is battling Kurdish forces in the city of Aleppo. The pontiff also condemned the recent Russian strikes on Ukrainian civilians, stating that dialogue and peace can only be cultivated with patience in pursuit of the common good of the society. He renewed his call for an end to violence and intensified calls for peace worldwide. The United States has delivered crucial military supplies to Nigeria to support the country's ongoing security operations, particularly in addressing insurgency, banditry, and other forms of violent crime. The supplies were handed over to Nigerian authorities in Abuja, emphasizing the shared security partnership between the two countries. Nigeria and its international parties, including the United States, are working together to boost security efforts across the country. In November 2025, President Bola Tinubu's administration asked the U.S. for military help to combat terrorism in some states. The collaboration between Nigeria and the U.S. aims to address security challenges, including terrorism and banditry. The U.S. has also approved a $346 million arms deal with Nigeria to support its counter-insurgency efforts. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, on Wednesday stated that all Nestle SMA infant formula currently approved for marketing in Nigeria are safe for consumption. The agency also said it did not register the UK batches of the products that are currently being recalled from the market. The statement signed by NAFDAC's Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, stated that NAFDAC wishes to clarify the recent public concern arising from the voluntary global recall in over 50 countries by Nestle UK of specific batches of its SMA infant formula and follow-on formula due to the potential presence of cereulide, a toxin in the batches concerned. The NAFDAC Director General said the alert has been issued as a precautionary measure in the interest of public health, consistent with NAFDAC's statutory responsibility to keep Nigerians duly informed of emerging global food safety concerns, even in circumstances where the likelihood of local exposure remains minimal. The agency continues to exercise utmost vigilance, recognizing that the risks associated with unauthorized importation, online transactions, or personal carriage of such products during international travel cannot be entirely excluded. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has expressed concern over the high rates of drug abuse among youths in the country, warning that drug abuse has no benefits. The Deputy Commander of the NDLEA in Osun, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Adegoke, stated this on Tuesday while delivering a lecture themed Avoiding Drug Abuse and its Long-Term Consequences. She emphasized that drug abuse is the root of many criminal activities in the country, noting that youths who indulge in drug abuse are a source of sorrow to their families and the society at large. Tragedy has struck in Kano State following the death of a mother of 5, Aishatu Umar, after an alleged case of medical negligence at the Abubakar Imam Urology Center, a government-owned health facility. A relative of the deceased, Abubakar Muhammad, said Aishatu died after enduring months of severe abdominal pain following a surgical procedure carried out at the hospital about 4 months ago. According to Mohammed, surgery was performed in September, after which Aishatu reportedly began experiencing persistent and worsening abdominal pain. He alleged that despite repeated visits to the hospital, she was only given pain relief medication without further investigation. He explained that medical tests and scans were eventually conducted just days ago, revealing that a pair of scissors had allegedly been left inside her body during the initial surgery. Mohammed described the incident as a clear case of negligence and called on the Kano State government and relevant health regulatory authorities to investigate the matter thoroughly and ensure justice for the deceased. And now to sports. Striker Kylian Mbappe was absent as Real Madrid coach Alvaro Arbeloa took charge of his first training session on Tuesday after replacing Xabi Alonso at the helm of the Spanish Giants. Arbeloa was appointed on Monday, 12th January 2026, and his first game is against Albacete in the Copa del Rey on Wednesday, 14th January 2026, which French forward Mbappe is unlikely to feature. Mbappe made his comeback from a knee sprain as a late substitute in the Spanish Super Cup final defeat by Barcelona on Sunday, but is likely to keep working on his recovery until next Tuesday's Champions League match against his former side, Monaco. Manchester United have reached an agreement in principle to appoint Michael Carrick as interim manager until the end of the season. Carrick, a former United midfielder and coach, is set to return to Old Trafford in caretaker role as the club looks to stabilize performances following a turbulent period on and off the pitch. His immediate task will be to stabilize a team currently sitting 7th in the Premier League before Manchester United look ahead to appointing a permanent manager. The current weather status in the US is quite chilling, with snow and freezing temperatures affecting up to 25 states. There are snow whiteouts in the central and eastern US, with some areas experiencing up to 3 feet of snow. The Northeast, including Philadelphia, New York City, and Boston, will experience higher snowfall than last winter. In the United Kingdom, Scotland is facing the worst conditions, with temperatures as low as -8 degrees Celsius, and England and Wales are experiencing travel disruption due to the snowfall. Stand by now for more details on weather reports across the globe and the exchange rates.
Welcome to the weather forecast for Wednesday, 14th January 2026. That was quite a report as regards the weather conditions in the UK and the US. Coming down to Abuja, it will be mostly sunny with a temperature of 35 degrees Celsius. In Lagos, it will also be mostly sunny with a temperature of 33 degrees Celsius. In Benin, it will be partly sunny with a temperature of 36 degrees Celsius. In Port Harcourt and Kaduna, it will be mostly cloudy with temperatures of 35 degrees Celsius in Port Harcourt and 32 degrees Celsius in Kaduna. In Enugu and Sokoto, it will be sunny with temperatures of 34 degrees Celsius in Enugu and 31 degrees Celsius in Sokoto. In Washington, it will be cloudy with a temperature of 11 degrees Celsius. In London and Johannesburg, there will be light rain with temperatures of 7 degrees Celsius. And Johannesburg, 26 degrees Celsius. In Rome, it will be partly sunny with a temperature of 14 degrees Celsius. And in Paris, it will be cloudy with a temperature of 12 degrees Celsius. And to the exchange rates, one United States dollar, its equivalent in naira, is 1,465. 1 euro, 1,707. 1 British pound, 1,970. The Canadian dollar presently stands at 1,055 naira, and the Australian dollar 981 naira. And now back to Ehi.
Thank you, Ogbegbo Ikekwa, for that report. And that's the news on air on Providence Television International. Thanks for staying tuned.